This is the first in a series of AWA's Whistleblowers Reports, RSPCA Yagoona, New South Wales, where dogs were inflicted with incredible pain from experiments with 1080 poison. Listen to this report from a nurse involved in this disgusting experiment.
But before I actually left, there was other things going on down in the kennel areas in what was called death row. They were the animals, the dogs primarily, that had been at the RSPCA long enough to wear out their either week or 2 weeks kennel time before they were put down or possibly selected the dog of the week, pet of the week, which I think was done through the Telegraph newspaper. And talking to some of the kennel staff, I always wondered how come some bigger dogs were always kept in one particular row that was behind a fence where the public couldn't go to see the animals in death row. And the kennel girls were telling me that these dogs were having fits, and one of the girls I'd actually gone to school with. There were other girls there that I didn't really know. One was Jenny, who I did know. And in the course of time, we had conversations where they found out that these dogs were being tested with 1080, which of course most people know is a poison primarily used for the baiting of wild dogs and dingoes, and they were honestly horrified at the effects that 1080 had on these dogs, and that the RSPCA was testing it when it came into Australia. All these tests had been done. It was confirmed by a solicitor who later on took on a case when all the girls got together, and I was included in that, to have this brought to public knowledge and to take action against the RSPCA. These dogs would attack each other. There were more than one dog sometimes kept in a kennel. They would rip their teeth out by grabbing hold of the chain wire on the gates of the kennels, and quite often were that delirious in their pain or their agony from this poison that the chain wire, even on some of these gates with the bigger dogs, was pulled off. Now, I can't remember exactly how long this testing went on for, but it was quite some time. When this action, we attended the solicitor, the girls that were involved, myself, we were giving all this evidence to a solicitor in Sydney. On one of these visits when we were to call in and see how it was progressing, he told us that unfortunately he had to drop the case. He didn't want to, morally he didn't want to, but he had been put under pressure. He told us it was from people from the board of directors of the RSPCA to drop it, and he had been informed to tell us that if we didn't drop the case ourselves and forget about it, that we would never work in our chosen field, which obviously was animals and vet nursing and that kind of thing, in the animal industry ever again. Now, some of those girls left, and later on, 3 or 4 of the girls in the kennel area at the time, I don't know who led it, they actually broke in to the RSPCA one night and stole some dogs that were on death row awaiting this testing with 1080. It was all swept under the carpet. The girls were summarily sacked. It didn't make the papers because at the time some of the board of directors for the RSPCA were actually on the board of directors for the Daily Telegraph.